We have a busy week full of planetary transits. It's yet another transformative 7 days occurring throughout this week. Jupiter will go into retrograde, giving us the opportunity to re-examine if we're on the right path or not. Trine is making a handful of regressive cycle transits throughout this week, allowing us to re-examine some of our themes in the retrograde regarding communication, thought processes, and the way we understand data. And the Sun is making the most alignments over these next 7 days, giving us the opportunity to work on our sense of self and any other ego issues we might be dealing with. The vibes on the graph are an interesting mix, especially because of the transits we're having this week. From the 4th to the 6th, mental energy will be present. It's going to peak and valley and mix in with a smidge of good luck energy. Some of this is the stationing Jupiter retrograde. Also, as Jupiter is making its station, it's going to be connecting with Mercury. So minds will feel more revved up than normal, but in a healthy way, because the alignment that's going on is a really easy one. Then from the 6th all the way up until the 8th, good luck energy will be abundant. It will be at its highest on the graph. It'll be the highest energy on the graph, mixed in with social energy, mixed in with ambitious energy, a smidge of solitude energy, and a low great amount of family and friends energy. Because of the mix of transits that we're having, that solitude energy is going to pop up. Also, by the time we get to the 9th all the way up until the 10th, there is some emotional sensitivity. And again, there are a mix of edgy transits, but there's also some jolly transits going on this week. This week is truly a mixed bag, so we're going to have moments where we're feeling social, chase after opportunities, or we could be having a day where things aren't really going so well, then all of a sudden it turns into something really good. It turns into expect the unexpected, but in a good way. So yeah, this is going to be another colorful week for sure. Let's look at the next bunch of days and see what we can expect. As a reminder, don't forget to like and subscribe because it helps this channel grow. And if you'd like to support the work of this channel, you could do so by buying me a fresh cup of coffee. There's a link in the description box below. On the 4th, Jupiter is going into retrograde motion. Jupiter went into its pre-shadow on June 11th and is the final of the outer planets to go retrograde. All the other planets on the other side of the asteroid belt have gone retrograde this year and have been in their retrograde motions. Uranus newly in its retrograde motion over the last 7 days, but Jupiter is finally going into retrograde due to its position in the sky and is the final outer planet to go into its regressive motion. But yeah, since June 11th, this planet has been in its pre-shadow phase, and if you're being aspected by this planet, think about what was going on with you regarding Jupiterian things. Where have you redirected on your life's journey? Has this been a period where you were re-examining the path that you've been on and wondering if something needs to be tweaked or if something needs to be moved forward from? Has this been a time where you're seeing too much of a good thing has been hindering you? A period where you've been addressing issues regarding avoidance. And with Jupiter, avoidance can look like evading our responsibilities, toxic positivity, because toxic positivity sometimes can be a form of avoidance. Spiritual bypassing is also another form of that. But overall, shrugging off things that you really don't want to deal with because they're uncomfortable, especially with Jupiter being combined with Taurus. Taurus is all about peaceful things and tranquility and what makes you feel good. And Jupiter is one of those planets where, you know, on the lower end, it sometimes is an energy that wants to be jolly and not deal with real issues, not deal with serious issues. So some of that may have came up during this pre-shadow period in terms of working through those types of things and not avoiding problems that need to be addressed. Has this been a period where your viewpoints are starting to shift? To put it another way, has this been a time where you're adopting new philosophies in life? So this could have been a time of questioning your beliefs. This could have been a time of reshaping beliefs that may not be working for you anymore, or learning newer perspectives from others. Sometimes this could look like beginning to understand higher perspectives and universal truths and going on some sort of metaphysical journey. Sometimes with Jupiter retrogrades too, people tend to have spiritual awakenings around that time, so that could be something that also is helping you reshape a lot of your beliefs. Jupiter is our planet of education, and so was this a period where you were starting to realize that you may need to go back to school, go back to university, or start your journey in terms of going to college? And if it's not college, were you seeking out certifications? Jupiter is a guru energy, and a lot of the times that can translate into yoga. This could translate into life coaching. This could translate into a lot of the other modalities where you learn something so that way you can help others in terms of helping another person get on the right path by coaching them through your wisdom about this specific modality. through this period, have you started to slowly work on gaining belief back in yourself? And with Jupiter, belief is a huge thing, and sometimes that belief is within ourselves and not just outside things. And so was this a period where you were trying to work on your confidence so that way you take more healthy risk, that way you go for the gold, that way you know you can pull things off and go after whatever opportunity is out there for you. Go after whatever aspiration is out there for you. And that could be any goal you have in mind. Because we're dealing with Jupiter, sometimes that could be a travel goal. Some people get to a point where they want to see more. And under Jupiter energy, we want to see past the horizon. So this could be a period where you were planning more in terms of travel, although because of Jupiter retrograde, things might have been delayed. So this could be a period where you're making modifications to some sort of travel plans or big goals in that sort of way. But this could have been a phase to start having those ideas in your head about what you'd like to do and what you'd like to see beyond your own backyard. But overall, Jupiter retrogrades are about being free and doing things beyond your limits. It's the planet where we shoot our shot and hope that everything will work out, because the worst that can be said is no when it comes down to opportunities. And this could be any opportunity that you're chasing in your life, whether it be relationship goals, travel goals, things to do with career, things to do with our education, things to do with spirituality, and that's more upright, trying to understand universal truths. But overall, sometimes our goals can be about becoming more optimistic in life and releasing ourselves from a limited mindset, leading to feeling more enthusiastic about life overall. And out of all the retrogrades, Jupiter is the easiest of the retrogrades. I'm not saying that all these things are easy and they're going to be a cakewalk, because they're not always, but in terms of levels of harshness, Jupiter retrogrades tend to be a little less stingy as the other planets can be. Jupiter will go direct on New Year's Eve, December 30th of 2023, and then it will leave its post shadow on March 23rd of 2024. The signs that'll feel this retrograde more than others is the fixed modality: Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius, between 5 to 15 degrees of these zodiac placements. So if you have planets and chart points in these signs, you'll experience this retrograde in a more inflated sense than others. And right out the gate, Mercury's making a trine with Jupiter. The last time we had this alignment was on August 9th. And even though this is an inverse cycle energy, it really does promote an upbeat tone. This is one of those reasons why we were seeing the good luck energy and the mental energy, but also Jupiter stationing. It is standing still and it is very potent at this period in time. So Monday and Tuesday may feel like a day where we're highly optimistic about things. Communication takes a very social tone and takes a more humorous tone with an energy like this. Also, communication-wise, it may be a time where we're speaking more philosophically and overall having more profound conversations with others. Our minds could feel mentally sharp with an energy like this. Again, with that mental energy we were having, this could be a day where we're feeling more inspired than normal. This could be a day where we're able to blend our left brain and right brain sides together, allowing us to see things from a logical place, but also an abstract place. But overall, an energy like this brings in a playful tone, so it'll be nice to have this optimistic tone for the next couple of days. By the time we get to the 5th, the Sun's making a semisextile with Venus, which could cause us to have to check our egos when it comes down to love life scenarios. And due to Venus still being in its retrograde cycle, Venus went direct on the 3rd, but we're in the post-shadow phase. So now what we're going to get is these alignments that happen during the pre-shadow and the retrograde cycle portion in this post-shadow phase. The great thing about this is we have more clarity when this happens, when we're moving through the post-shadow. So we'll be able to solve certain things that might have been perplexing during the retrograde cycle. But with an alignment like this, we might have to check ourselves when it comes down to entitlement in relationships. We might have to check ourselves when it comes down to needing validation in relationships. So if there's been any issues going on in your romantic scenarios since July 21st when we had this alignment, all of these things can come back up for resolution. One thing though with this alignment is it can be fun, it can be flirty, it's a little paradoxical because it has its harsher tones, but it also has its friendly, chatty, flirtatious tone to it, its adventurous tone, its passionate tone. So it might bring up those good things that might have happened relationship-wise. Or if there was a scenario where you felt self-conscious from an energy like this, it may be a time to express yourself more confidently. By the time we get to the 6th, we have more sun alignments. This time, the sun will be connecting with Mercury and also Pluto, while Mercury is connecting to Pluto as well. So we have a conjunction of the Sun and Mercury, and both planets are making a sesquiquadrate to Pluto. So this combination is going to be interesting because it does bring in a mixed bag tone. The Sun and Mercury will be making a cazimi with one another, which happens to be a special connection wise between these two celestial bodies. And when that happens, it tends to help us have eureka moments, sudden moments where we have insight about something. It gives us that nice boost and power up we need to feel encouraged to take action on things. Also, it's very energizing. So it helps us in a lot of ways in terms of feeling like our vitality is more robust than normal. And it also brings in a nice social tone to it that's very upbeat. However, with these planets connecting to Pluto, there can be moments where things get a little bit sharp. Because Mercury's in retrograde, it last connected with Pluto in this way on August 8th. We're going to have one more on the 23rd once this planet goes into its post shadow. But with an energy like this, we might have some moments where things get uncovered that might have been buried beneath the surface. In other words, Pluto has a way of unearthing things. So if there was something that we didn't understand, something that was complex, something that seemed puzzling to us, we might end up getting some sort of insight as to what it is and what's going on. Truths tend to get revealed under an energy like this, and with it connecting to the Sun in this way, that can also be displayed. Another way this can show up with the Sun and Mercury, connecting to Pluto like this could manifest in a way where we're dealing with people who have huge egos. We're dealing with those who come on too strong. We're dealing with those who overshare or just overall need to be the loudest person in the room. So it can make things uncomfortable in that way as a result of all of this. By the time we get to the 7th, we have more Mercury-Venus stuff going on. Mercury is making a semisextile with Venus, and this is an alignment we've got when both planets were in their pre-shadow. Then as Venus went into its retrograde phase. So one of the first times we got this was on July 8th. Then on August 15th, we got it as Mercury entered its pre-shadow and Venus was in its retrograde motion. But an alignment like this can bring up insincere communication when it comes down to our romantic lives. In other words, it could bring up scenarios where we're dealing with people who may have an agenda, communication-wise, when it comes down to love life situations. In a nutshell, you're dealing with flirtation, and it seems like you're getting all the right words being said to you and attention, and really the person has hookup energy. Or you're dealing with someone who's a sweet talker, and they're trying to butter you up for something romantically, in a way that's more beneficial to them than anything else. And sometimes it's just not developing anything genuine with someone. Sometimes it really is just for superficial reasons and stuff. So it could bring to our attention where a situation is not as deep or committed as we might like. Also, an energy like this may bring to our attention where we need to work on a need for validation, because this is another thing that's coming up with some of these energies with the Venus stuff and also some of the Sun stuff connected to Venus and now with Mercury. It can rev up the need for praise, and if we're not getting the response that we want, we may feel irritated. So this could be an opportunity to work on our need for an instant response from others in order to be validated. The weekend has an interesting tone to it, and mostly it's mixed bag due to an alignment with Mars and Uranus, but also an alignment with the Sun and Jupiter. Let's get the tough one out the way first. Mars is going to make a sesquiquadrate with Uranus, and so we need to really be aware of reckless behavior on this day. When Mars and Uranus come together in alignment, I will say it can be fun at times, it can be adventurous at times. However, an alignment like this can also rev up the need to be reckless. It could enunciate impulsivity, leading to a lack of patience, leading to getting irritated really fast when we don't get our way right away. Or it could bring out our rebellious side and inflate the need to do what we want regardless of what others think. And there's a healthy end to that, but then there's an unhealthy end to that, and this is the unhealthy end. So we need to be mindful of rebelling for the sake of rebelling, and doing things to get a rise out of people, doing things for shock value. And also, we'll need to ground our energy because our tempers can get flared up very easily. A vibe like this tends to enunciate sudden bursts of anger, so that's also something we need to be aware of with this. And again, with the impulsivity and the recklessness, try to go slow even if you're feeling overly enthusiastic about something, because there tends to be clumsiness with an alignment like this. So you just want to be aware of that, so that way you're not getting into things that may lead to stubbing your toe or other clumsy things that might happen. But luckily, we have an alignment going on with the Sun and Jupiter that is ultra positive. And hopefully it mitigates some of that energy from Mars and Uranus, because an alignment like this with the Sun trine Jupiter, it happens to be one of the most optimistic alignments that you can get. And this happens to be a regressive cycle alignment. All of the outer planets make a trine to the Sun when they're in their regressive cycles on the other side, entering or exiting. Mars is the only inner planet that makes a trine to the Sun as it's going into its regressive cycle due to its orbit. But with energy like this, turn lemons into lemonade. So if something was going wrong, this could be one of those alignments where we just reverse everything. So a day that started off crappy might end up having a silver lining to it. Our need for adventure will be revved up, and of course with the Mars stuff going on in Uranus, it's going to be ultra revved up, but this also encourages that in a more healthier sort of way. So it could be a weekend for just going out and having fun, getting together with friends, being very social, trying new things, going to new hangout spots. A vibe like this also encourages road trip energy and other excursions you're wanting to take over the weekend. Plus, it brings in such a fortunate vibe and a good luck tone. Even though it's a trine, and trines tend to be a little bit less go-get-em energy with that Mars-Uranus stuff, if this energy mitigates that, there can be some fortunate circumstances in terms of being a go-getter and being ambitious. Again, exercise caution, take healthy risk. If something seems like it's too good to be true, try not to do it. Don't do it at all. But if something seems more sure, this might be the time to do it, as long as it's not risky in a damaging sense and a healthy risk and opportunity. So soak this energy up as much as you possibly can, and again, hopefully it mitigates all that Mars stuff, Uranus stuff that's going on over the weekend. But yeah, what a week. Definitely mixed baggy for sure, with a lot of opportunities and moments where, it might be a little problematic and uncomfortable. So do the best you can with these energies, and I hope you all have the best week ever. Later, and see you in the next episode.